What's up, y'all? It's just Rhonda. Welcome to my channel. Ooh, StreamYard was not gonna let me be great today, y'all. They was not. They told me it was a lot of traffic and I had to come back later. And I was like, I'm gonna come back one more time. And then if not, I'm gonna have to just charge it to the game, y'all. It's just Rhonda. It's coffee talk, but it's a little late. Nobody has to know that, only the replay gang. For them, it's going to be coffee talk. And for us, it's, if you want to switch up your coffee in the real moment, you have a little, whatever you drink, I'm going to have a little tea. I'm going to have a little tea. I was out there in the yard today. So, yeah, I'm going to do the right thing. Hola, a lotus Egyptian flower. We over here doing coffee talk this evening. I had an appointment this morning and I didn't want to cancel on y'all together. So here I am. And the banner of the day, the topic of the day, the beginning, what do we call it? The evening wellness. Better worry about your own sins because God ain't gonna ask you about mine. I cannot be more clear about how don't worry about how I live my life. Don't worry about the decisions I make. I have great discernment and I feel like I can handle it. I got it. I've been having it. You know what I was born with? A conscience. I used to think everybody was born with one. My daughter likes to call me a goody two shoes. I don't care. I don't care. Sorry. I'm not for the drama. So, yeah, I'm born with a conscience. Some people are not. That's unfortunate. Your conscience is that thing, that little voice. You know how you have the devil on? I don't be having no devil on my shoulder most of the time. Most of the time, I don't listen to it when it pops up, but you get that little tingle in your spirit, and it says, "Don't do that." You weigh out the consequences of your actions. Have I taken actions that I probably shouldn't have? I have. And the consequences I didn't like. So, not Apostle Rhonda. Don't get me over here preaching and things, but that's not what I came to do. I feel like everybody is in control of their own salvation. So if you like to spend your Sunday mornings in the church house trying to get somebody to tell you, I like to think of church as community. You know what I mean? But my salvation, that's all mine. You know what I mean? I got it. I got it. So yeah, don't be worrying about me. I'm good over here. And I hope you're good too. That's it. That's all for right now. Um, yeah. Let the choir let the choir sing. Let's get into these things that we normally do. Nothing is different over here, even though we over here in the evening, the rules are the same. We over here to talk about some Black excellence, some Black history, some current events, some celebrity gossip, just a little bit. We don't really focus so much on the celebrities over here. And we get into some of the wild things that run across the timeline, across yours and across mine. Because, some of us be over here, hey, Lotus Egyptian flower, sharing memes and things down to the DMs. But, I'm not be over here telling all our business, but we're going to tell this business. This young man here, I'm gonna try my best. If I'm getting all up on the screen, let me just do it on my phone because I feel weird when I'm like trying to stare into the ring light and get all up on the screen, and then I start reading words that may or may not be there. I don't know, but anyway, um, at 23 years old, Malik Singal, I think I pronounced it right, became the youngest African American to earn certification as a Boeing 777 pilot. 23, you get on his plane, you're going to be like, do you have a driver's license? You're over here flying the plane? Shout out to him. Um, the Biloxi, Mississippi native and Delta State University graduate achieved the type of rating in 2020 Black excellence. Um, Sounds like Delta State, HBCU, Biloxi, Mississippi. It always baffles me how Mississippi can be going through so much strife in terms of um, the home of the Klan is Tennessee, but I feel like they spilled over into Mississippi. There's so much racism that they're dealing with. We deal with racism in the United States as a whole. Seems like it's escalating. Seems like we're past escalating. We're already there. We're at the peak of it. Um, But Mississippi always has had this reputation for being, so racist. On the flip side, I feel like so many. What's up, T? I feel like so many good things, like so many people who strive and achieve and do good things come out of Mississippi as well. So with everything they got going on over there, we'll talk about it Wednesday. It's been a day. Um, and I don't want to go too deep this evening. Not so much. Not too deep. It's been a long day. So yeah, let's keep it somewhere. We just gonna do a little yang yang over here. What they say, a little yang yang. We just gonna do a little yang yang over here so we can continue, with our regularly scheduled programming. Here's another one. Georgia football player scores a perfect 1600 on the SAT, proving you can dominate in the classroom and in the field. That's what's up. This boy is over here, doing things on the field. We don't know what his future is as it relates to football, but we do know he got a good old score on the SAT and will probably be doing big things over there, on the college campus. It says, talk about the ultimate student athlete. Corey Sessoms, a student football player and a rising senior at New Manchester High School in Georgia, has earned a perfect 1600 on his SAT. They won't tell you about that, but we will. We're going to talk about it over here. An achievement reached by less than 1% of test takers nationwide. Hell, the kids can't read halfway. And he's over here, looking like Tariq. Look like his daddy is Ghost and Tasha. I'm just playing. Not really. Anyway, beyond excelling on the football field, Corey has maintained a 4.0 GPA, completed his high school graduation requirements early, and is taking college courses through dual enrollment. He hopes to study engineering before eventually pursuing a career in law. That's what's up. His message to other students: focus on truly learning the material instead of simply chasing a score. Yeah, because I feel like when you're truly learning, then you go score. That's it. That's all. That's excellent advice. Corey's story is a powerful reminder that you don't have to choose between academics and athletics. With discipline, dedication, and hard work, it's possible to excel in both. Congratulations, Corey. You're setting an incredible example for the next generations of scholars and athletes. Yes, you shouldn't have to sacrifice both. I think there's a lot of smart athletes, though. We just don't talk about it. He don't look like Tyreek. He do. He's handsome. He's a handsome young man. We need more positive young people doing great things, and we need to share it. We need to talk about it. I feel like athletes have a bad reputation, and it's because I feel like it's designed that way. I feel like, especially as far as Black athletes are concerned, it's designed that way so they'll focus on football and they won't, achieve great in academics. You can definitely do both, and he went all the way to a perfect score, so he's exemplary. He's not your ordinary. But at the end of the day, you can still like achieve, like he said, focus on learning what it is. You know what I'm saying? He is pursuing a career in law. He didn't say nothing about football. I bet you that football paid for his college though. Shout out to that. If he's good on the field, hopefully he will be going up there, to get that education and keep his parents' pockets, full for the next thing, for whatever's next after college. Anyway, shout out to him. We have a lot of, I'm shaking. I'm getting from one story to the next. I like to start with something uplifting. Sometimes, like, I start with the politics of it all, and I want to get us in a good frame of mind. And then let's take us over to what's going on in this world. Another Arizona, it says another. So what's going on over there in Arizona and other places? Arizona city is pulling out a flock. This one found something in an audit it couldn't explain. Let's click. Chandler, I guess it's Chandler, Arizona, is taking down all 40 of its flock license plate cameras. The city says an audit turned up an abnormally an audit turned up an abnormally in how that's the way they wrote it, child. You can see it, it's right there. And abnormally in how the system was being used that standard police activity couldn't account for. And it's now investigating whether the system was used inappropriately. Investigating that, I hate that word because it seems like nothing is really being investigated. They're investigating whether the system was being used inappropriately and whether anyone needs to be disciplined. Huh? Why would somebody need to be disciplined? Chandler says its initial review found no evidence any resident's privacy was compromised. It won't renew the flock agreement for now and wants stronger policies in place before considering plate readers again. The cameras belong to Flock and the company is removing them. What y'all think about these Flock cameras? I find myself thinking about things every day that I had no idea or no interest in worried about. Now, every time I drive past the cameras, I'll be thinking, I wonder, is it flocking? Probably flocking. Well, they were very guarded with the information as far as I'm concerned, talking about some things came up. Well, let's see what came up because some things absolutely did come up. More than 50 cops have been formally charged or accused of using flock cameras to stalk women, with 26 losing their jobs. Now, I don't know if that's Arizona, but it seems as though the flock is a problem. An investigation by public interest law firm Institute for Justice reveals a concerning trend of police officers using flock surveillance cameras to stalk women. Back to blue, y'all. These automated license plate readers photograph millions of vehicles daily, upload location data to nationwide database, allowing law enforcement to track car movement with remarkable precision. At when you think about the Amber Alerts and things of that nature, you think that's a good thing. But we always got somebody over here doing too much. At least 50 law enforcement officers have been officially criminally charged or accused of misusing license plate reader database for unauthorized personal surveillance. The police shouldn't have no access to it. This should be, somebody who's been thoroughly vetted to go through, you know what I'm saying? You shouldn't have no access to the police department getting people's, information like that. Out of those 50 identified cases, at least 24 to 28 officers have been explicitly arrested or fired specifically for using the Flock safety network to stalk romantic interests, ex-partners, and spouses. Weird. In many instances, I think it's dangerous. It's unfortunate. Y'all married to the police, like, shout out to you. But I think it's very easy for them, especially these types, to do nasty things, inappropriate things, dangerous things. And then they have a whole band of buddies who's going to stand by them. So, you can't even call the police to get help. In many instances, officers bypass department regulations to run hundreds of unauthorized searches without obtaining a search warrant. That's a problem. Effectively turning taxpayer-funded technology into personal tools for intimidation and harassment. I wish I could say I'm shocked, but I'm not. Almighty. Alarmingly, internal department audits routinely failed to flag these suspicious search patterns. Most cases were uncovered only after victims noticed the tracking and reported the stalkers directly to law enforcement. Because these AI-powered systems operate without strict judicial oversight, civil liberties advocates warn that sensitive location histories remain highly vulnerable to official misconduct. As public awareness grows, ongoing debate over unchecked police technology has led a growing number of cities and local communities across the United States to cancel their surveillance contracts and demand stronger legal protection for personal privacy. I mean, I hope they do, because it seems as though, all of the bad people are in charge. They at the police department, they down to the White House, they over in the government offices. It's a bunch of child eating, nasty, I could come up with so many names, but I might get myself in trouble. So let me just stop. It's bad. It's bad over there. And I hope, something has to be done. I don't know if I'm being flocked or not, but, probably more good news coming from the government because they're so full of good news. Y'all, I'm going to just go. We got to know these things. We got to know these things so we know what's next. So if you have parents or grandparents in the nursing home, and if they're not there, on benefits, if they're there on retirement money or however, family paying for it, I don't know. But if they're on insurance, Medicare, you might have to bring them to the house. It was older people who built up America together with immigrants, and in America, they show no respect for nobody. Good luck in 45 days. 45 days, and make a place where grandma could sleep. My mother was at home. I mean, she spent some time in a nursing home based on her health condition, which that was. Let me let this lady tell you what's going on.
Afternoon. So if you have a mom, a dad, a grandma, an uncle, a brother, a sister that lives in an assisted living facility, a nursing home, be prepared to make some room on your couch, room in your spare bedroom, because most likely you will have a family member that will have to move in with you soon enough. Let me explain. So 99% of nursing home facilities, assisted living for the elderly are no longer going to be accepting Medicaid. Yes, guys, you heard me correctly. Nursing homes and assisted living facilities are no longer going to be accepting Medicaid, which means that the majority of the elderly people in those facilities are going to be without somewhere to go in about 30 to 45 days. And that is all thanks to the big, beautiful fucking bill that everybody thought was so great. So prepare, guys, if you have family members of, that are elderly and that are currently in nursing homes, assisted living, make sure you scoot over some room on your couch in your spare bedroom because you will have family coming over. And that is all thanks to the fucking Trumpies, Latinos for Trump, all the stupid lawmakers, and everybody else that did not want to listen and thought the big, beautiful bill was going to be big and beautiful is turning out to be a complete shit show. And it's fucking hurting the most vulnerable people in the world today, the elderly. Fucking disgusting. Let me know in the comments what you guys think. Share this video so everybody knows what's going on and what's going to happen in 30 to 45 days. Be safe out there, my loves. I love you. Breaking news this.
One thing they're gonna do is say my love, child. I get my love through the drive-through down to the Walgreens. They're gonna my love you to death. Yes, El Cid, we having a late coffee talk, but if you would like to substitute your coffee for a glass of wine or whatever it is you'd like to partake in, feel free to do that. It's, like I said, people in the replay ain't gonna know what time it is. What else was said? I saw something. You said, how sad that we cannot trust the blue line, not even in a relationship. I would be very afraid. I always, and not because I just told you I'm kind of a goody two shoes, so I don't really be doing things outside the law, but and I mean, it's dangerous enough to just be in a relationship. Men are, proving day after day, like, how they can't be trusted. And I always shy away from police in terms of in my personal life. I've never dated a cop. I've always been afraid that they would take advantage of their position of power. But some people are not that, and you grow up and hope that some good people are going to be a part of the police department, but I feel like it's getting hard. Black cops are being harassed, female cops are being harassed, the old good old boys down to the police department have it was all they were always there. So it is what it is, in terms of trying to get some people in there, the good guys, you know what I'm saying. um You said you thought YT was telling me that morning talk was real late. No, YouTube, no, YouTube did not lie to you. But StreamYard, I mean, I'm here now, but StreamYard, I got ready to get on at 7, and they're like, "Hey, we got a lot of traffic over here. Just keep, come back in a minute." And I came back in a minute, and they wouldn't let me on. So after I tried about 15 times, then I was like, "This is the last try. I'm gonna have to cancel it altogether." But I'm glad, we're over here. Who thought it was great? Who thought what was great? Make America great again? I'm glad she mentioned the Latinos for Trump because they was over there. I was out in my yard today, and boy, that man across the street still has that banner up in his yard. I can't stand him, and I'm like, what is it that he would have to do? It's not in his yard; it's in his garage. But when he opens his garage, there's a Trump banner in there, and I'm like, first of all, you closeted Trump creep. Why do you feel so strongly that you need to hang a banner in your garage? And it's been there a couple of years now. Every time he opened that garage, I'll be wishing I had like Bewitched. You know how Samantha? I wish I could tweak my nose and set that thing ablaze, but I'm not. I'm not like a real witch. I'm just a witch in my head. I be trying to get my mutant powers to activate. I don't really even know what it is. Maybe I should focus on that. I need to focus on my mutant power. So, I mean, I can develop them. Everything else that I learned as a child is coming true. So, I refuse to believe that Magneto is not a thing. And I'm like this close. I'm this close to just saying, let's go ahead and, Thanos that thing. Take our chances. Anyway, in other political news, I love this girl, Alize. Alize cracks me up. Alize is going to go ahead and explain to y'all how there were no men. I mean, there were no women. Not a single woman was invited to the White House meeting on women's health. Let's listen to Alize because she's such a character.
Woman was invited to the White House meeting on women's health. Let me move real quick so y'all can see all these niggas. Yeah, let's talk about women's health, y'all. Nobody in there got a coochie though. That means when they was talking about women's health, that means not one nigga was like, maybe we should ask a woman, y'all. I don't know what y'all think. Should we ask at least one woman? Probably where women's health would need for their health to be better. What the hell is a woman gonna tell me about women's health? The fuck? You wanna know anything about a woman? Ask me. Hey, I know women like the back of my motherfucking hand. That's new. But I mean, hey, I can't blame the U.S., right? Not the same country that voted for this guy. The U.S. president raped a woman and she took him to court and she won. I'm going to say that one more time. I don't think a lot of y'all knew this, but the U.S. president raped a woman. She then took him to court for the rape and she won. He's still our president right now. You can look this shit up. If you don't think that this nigga's our president right now, you can look it up. If you also don't think that he raped that lady over there and she took him to court and won, you can look that up as well. Also, in other news, this is ancient Roman money. An eagle, nigga with a wig, right? We got an eagle and a nigga with a wig. So for my folks that's in the book of Revelation, when they talk about that one beast that looked like a leopard, a bear, and a lion, I think the U.S. is wrong. I think the U.S. is modern day Rome. Could be wrong. Y'all tell me what y'all think. I don't know. Maybe I'll be taking y'all too fast, but yeah, man, y'all just let me know what y'all think about all this. Not a single woman was.
She cracks me up. I'm gonna put her link in the bio. So smart the way she explains things. Hey Trey, you said get an F Trump flag and put it up. Magneto was right. Magneto was right, Trey. Out of all the Marvel characters, I understood where he was coming from. He wasn't doing nothing. He was minding his own life, and they came for him and they did what they did to his family. And he only had one option, was to come back. And I noticed, I'm gonna go back. My daughter wants to do a Marvel night. We're gonna go back and like watch all of them. I think it's Captain America we started, and then I fell asleep. So yeah, when I get my members only together, I'll probably do some Marvel things and some of the stuff that we don't do over here. But Magneto was my guy. I was like, yes, and I feel like Magneto was over there handling them politicians. So yeah, when I go to bed at night, I'm working very hard on my mutant powers. If y'all have some, go ahead and don't slip, don't sleep. You said where was Paula White? She loves. I don't know, child. I don't love nothing about this man. It does seem biblical. I mean, you won't hear me say that often, but every day when I wake up, I'll be like, damn, this really feels like that end of times they were talking about. Yes, Alizé she's so smart. I love these young kids that, be paying attention. I think there's, a gap somewhere, but, they be paying attention. Ancient Rome, interesting. I feel like this administration, though, likes to look at history and they see themselves in this light of conquering everything. And, that's where this weird ass energy comes from, I feel like. Um, the news has been out for a minute. And let me stop over here. The young lady, let me mind you, nobody has been charged yet. Everything is just an investigation. But the video went out over the weekend of the young lady in Michigan. It said the St. John Police Department in Michigan is investigating a viral video showing a young Black woman identified as Audrey Mazirik being taunted and assaulted by a group of white acquaintances. Well, I'm glad they stopped saying friends. The case is under review and for potential crime charges. They killed me saying allegedly. We was watching it. We saw what they was doing. It said a video surfaced online on August 2026 through though the underlying incident reportedly took place November 2025. These kids love to record themselves, don't they? Victim Audrey Mazirik, and they don't name these three girls, but I bet you when I come back on Wednesday, I'm having everybody name investigating, trying to figure out what to charge them with. Assault. That's what it is. That's what you charge them with. Victim Audrey Mazirik stated publicly that she was invited over by people she thought were friends who allegedly exploited her epilepsy and severe intolerance to alcohol by plying her until she was incapacitated. Um, I feel like they forced her. You know what I mean? I don't think she was just over here. If she knows like what how she um, reacts to alcohol. The graphic video shows Mazirik unresponsive on a bed while individuals surrounded her. They calling them individuals: Becky, Jessica, and Heather. Until further notice. Um, Individuals surrounded her, making threats, pulling her hair, and striking her. And the status is the St. John Police Department confirmed that all individuals involved in the video have been identified, though we don't see their names. Local law enforcement stated that complete investigation file and video evidence are being submitted to the Clinton County Prosecutor's Office to determine formal charges. I mean, like I said, I think they're really just trying to get them off as easy as they can, but we're gonna see. And I didn't want to show the video, but I'm gonna go ahead and show it because it's mostly showing them. And I feel like we need to see their faces. We need to see their faces so when I see you on the street, you don't even know me. Here they go.
Three girls are currently under police investigation for allegedly assaulting a Black girl with epilepsy. The incident happened in Michigan, USA. According to the victim, Audrey Mazirik, she was drinking with several acquaintances that night, but was later forced to consume alcohol until she gradually lost consciousness. While she was unable to resist, the girls allegedly began recording videos and physically attacking her. The video reportedly also captured discussions about what they would do with her body if she died. The attack left Audrey seriously injured, including a swollen eye, facial injuries, and bruises across her body. She was rushed to the hospital and suffered an epileptic seizure during treatment. Police said the video was recorded last November, and the people involved were reportedly aware of Audrey's epilepsy and mental health condition beforehand. After the incident, Audrey contacted a lawyer and plans to take legal action against those involved. Police are currently reviewing messages between the suspects and the actions shown in the videos, while considering whether to upgrade the charges to more serious criminal offenses. What do you think about this case? Share your opinion in the comments. Three girls are currently
I mean, it's horrible. It's horrible. It looks like Jamal slid on down to the white neighborhood because Audrey clearly is biracial. So I'm just guesstimating that she lives with her white mother who's unable to protect her from this group of people that are in their environment. Sad. And I don't want to say it's a trend because I feel like this stuff has been going on all along, but these kids keep wanting to videotape everything. And so thankfully leaving evidence behind. That young lady, Audrey, also was pregnant at the time, I believe they said. So here's another story because she's not the only one. So this young lady, we talk about not letting our child be the only, you know, and this young lady, it says, when they genuinely asked me why I wanted to move school. So this must be her parents. Um, First, this is the person that posted it. It said those aren't people that I would trust to be friends to my child, not even on a trip or to a local pool. Your kids are listening to you, and what you listen to, they will tell form their worldview. Child, I don't know what that says. I get tired of these people that write things in such a strange way. I'm bad enough over here solo. I don't need the help. Anyway, this young lady, she is minding her own business.
Okay, you have to get out. Get out. Because you're. Get out. Bro, get out. Why? What happened to your face? This was blown. Bro, what do I do? Yeah, now you have your name on it, so you're gonna get in trouble.
All I have to do is wipe it off.
Who's in this?
Washable clean.
Exactly. Who's in this? Wait. This boys? I'm pretty sure this is. Ew, that stinks. Smell this yourself. He's like a roaches. Smell this. Who's getting red?
And if it wasn't on camera, no one would ever have believed her, because their children are always angels and ours are always the aggressor. That's what the news says. That's what the government leaders say. And the words that they use shape the treatment of an entire people group. We can do better. We can do so much better. We can be more fair. We can be more kind. We can be more human.
I don't believe that they don't know, and I feel like they know exactly, how we come across. It's just this entitlement. Those girls, the way they violated her personal space, um, it just, you don't know where their aggression is coming from, the hate that is passed down clearly from generations. We look at the current administration and we're like, be glad when these guys expire so we can get through this era of racism. But there's a brand new batch of crackers. That was Tourette's. Don't mind me. Yes, that breaks your heart. It's heartbreaking. It's heartbreaking, and it's like there she is, the only black girl. You know what I mean? In a space with all these white kids, and they treating her like they have not just access, but a right. They have a right to just go through her things. Like y'all done took it off, and where she was sitting there minding her own business. But I don't know, y'all. I just think it's time. It's time to put things within our own communities so that our children have advantages, that we don't have to send them off to somewhere where they're the only in order to reap the benefits of the access. Child, let's talk about what they kids is over here doing, because I seen well, I guess they kids been doing it the whole time, but this is down to the Republican Party. Republican Representative Lauren Boebert's adult son arrested, facing multiple felony charges related to alleged sexual exploitation of a child. Well, he's right on brand with what they do over there. Taylor Boebert, the 21-year-old son of Republican Rep. Lauren Boebert, was arrested Sunday, August 9th in Garfield County, Colorado. in a string of felony charges tied to alleged sexual exploitation. According to the court records, the charge included child sexual exploitation to induce or entice a minor, sexual exploitation of a child, possession with intent, sexual exploitation involving video, and 2 counts of contributing to the delinquency of a minor with an alleged offense dated January 1st, 2024. Well, she been knew Bo Burt. She been knew her boy Tyler was a hot ass mess. 2024. A warrant for Tyler's arrest was issued August 7th. Why it took so long? I guess they was investigating like they doing over there with the other young lady. It take them a long time to investigate, don't they? That girl done had a baby already. Anyway, Tyler's arrest was issued August 7th with a bond set at $10,000. $10,000. They got that in the house. Come on. After settling the bail, Tyler was released the same day. He's due back in court August 19th. The arrest lands just weeks before Tyler faces sentencing in 2 unrelated cases. He's set to be sentenced September 4th in Weld County after pleading guilty to 1 count of negligence without injury in 2025 child abuse case, with a second charge dismissed. A separate September 10th sentencing in Garfield County stems from a February 2024 arrest connected to a series of vehicle trespasses and property thefts. He's just a whole thug. The Bobart family has yet to address Tyler's latest arrest. How's she down? What is she representing? What is she representing? I don't think, she should necessarily lose her job, but good grief, it seems like she got a lot on her plate over there. Where's his father? Is the father in the home? Hey, Motown Investor, we over here doing coffee talk in the evening because, Jatoni, what's up, Jatoni? Y'all coming through this evening? I appreciate y'all because I thought I was going to be over here by myself. $10,000 bond. How much was, what's her name? Sydney Starr. I think both of them should be locked up. I've always thought Sydney Starr was trash, but I bet you her bond is more than $10,000. So while our kids is over here fighting for our life just to get from the party back to the house, you got Tyler Bobant over here doing an inappropriate mess with these children. You said, remember, she divorced and was groping a man in a theater. Ugh. Well, that's where she got it for. No, I did not remember. That apple ain't falling too far from the tree now, is it? He living that GTA lifestyle. Seemed like it, and it seemed like his mama in the passenger seat. They over there touching on folks that didn't have no permission. Tyler just a nasty. He's just true to the game. This is what Republicans look like. These are the poster children for the Republicans. So, what state? Colorado? Y'all nasty, and so is your representative. Speaking of nasty, the mindset of a man is sometimes so disturbing. Much like this young man who can't control his impulses, this young man can't either. He thinks he is, but unfortunately for him, he's saying the quiet part out loud. So we're all looking at him like, what did you just say, nigga?
That I've seen in a very long time.
I gotta start briefing the male teachers that teach in middle school and high school. One thing, nobody want to talk about the elephant in the room. Y'all got these grown men around these raging hormone young girls that's developing, bro. It needs to be spoke on, man. Hey, dog, don't lose your job over that. Don't lose your family over that. Don't get sent to prison and have a fucking charge on your jacket over that. Because we all got eyes. Yeah, you gotta have that conversation with some motherfuckers because you gotta let motherfuckers know, hey, bro, you ain't gonna get away with that shit.
I think what bothered me the most is the why. You shouldn't be doing this because you're going to get caught. And not because these are children.
Because we all got eyes. The girls are developing fast as a mother.
A child going through puberty does not suddenly become available to adults. So hip spreading, wearing shorts, getting taller, developing breasts is still a child. And another thing that makes me sick is that a lot of these grown men try to assign adult sexuality to children's bodies. You cannot determine a child's sexual history or even a woman's sexual history by simply looking at their body or their clothing.
It needs to be briefings early on. It needs to be seminars held specifically for targeting.
This clown needs a briefing and a seminar for his mind to know that you shouldn't be attracted to children.
Men telling them why you shouldn't try to indulge in a higher school student.
And even if a
Indulge.
child was to have a crush on a teacher, the responsibility still falls on the adult to report inappropriate behavior. There should never be a "she came on to me" defense. Really listen to how that sounds. A male educator needs advice on how to resist a student.
Because we all got eyes.
This also made me think about some of the things that I heard growing up differently. I used to be so aggravated when my mom would tell me, "Oh, put on some clothes. Take them shorts off. You're not about to be walking around no grown men like this." And I'm like, it's the summer. It's hot outside. Or it's just shorts. Like, what's the issue? The issue wasn't me. The issue is that there are grown men out there who will sexualize a child just because you're showing skin. But the reality is, girls should never have to carry that burden. A developing girl should not be responsible for a grown man's thoughts.
Don't lose your job over that. Don't lose your family over that. Don't get sent to prison and have a fucking charge on your jacket over that.
But this is exactly why
he just said, don't get sent to prison.
A lot of parents are cautious about the adults that they allow around their children, because a lot of times these predators don't look predatory. It could look like your teacher. It could look like your coach. It could look like your youth pastor. It can look like your uncle.
But it needs to be seminars held targeting men, telling them why you shouldn't try to indulge in a higher school student.
This is such a tired conversation, and I really hate that we still have to have it in 2026. But I don't know, neighbors. What are y'all thoughts? Comment below. This is one of the most...
It is disturbing because he thinks he's like really laying down some knowledge. He needs a whole seminar. Male teacher, women are doing it too. It's true. Going to jail for should be enough of an incentive. You don't think that teachers need like a whole seminar so they won't touch the children? A PDF file will stay with them forever. I don't think there's any cure for it either. I have been that mother though, and it's funny because I feel like a lot of times I don't know what happens. The younger guys have more sense than the older ones do. It's weird. I remember I was taking my daughter to a model casting, and she went in to go pay for the gas. So I'm standing at the pump, and it was a young kid. And, he's looking at her, but he looked like, he might have been 19, 18, 19. And so he looked at her. At the time, she was just 16, but my daughter's very tall. And he doesn't see me watching him, watching her. And so when she came back out, he spoke to her. And then he followed up with, "How old are you? Are you 18? And she said, "No, I'm 16. And he was like, "All right, have a nice day." So I'm like, this is a young kid who had better sense. Now, if I take myself down to the wing house to get some wings, there's a bunch of young men in there watching the game, and there's a bunch of crusty, usty, nasty old grandpas in there looking at the young girls. It's disgusting. What'd you say, Trey? You said he was incorrect in how he said it, but I must say we had a coach who impregnated a classmate of mine. Unfortunately, I don't think that's so uncommon. The rub was he plotted and planned on sleeping with him. She plotted and planned on sleeping with him, but she's a child. So, you know what I'm saying? That's what, doesn't make sense. I think there's a lot of, it's normal to have a crush on a teacher. I think it happens more often. Well, it used to happen more often with the male teachers, but the teachers are young, and these boys is out here talking about, they looking for them a cougar. So it's on the teacher. What was that lady, Mary Kay Letourneau, that went to jail, and she came out and married the boy anyway after she had his kids, left her husband. They both are saying something. It's how they're wording it that's odd. I feel like Lotus Egyptian Flower, though, when you say it the way he said it, to me, that makes me think this dude be out here looking at little girls, talking about we need a seminar. I feel like he's the type of guy that's like, oh my God, look at her. Like the little girl said, they start developing and you putting on shorts. I know as a mother, there's been times where I was like, you can't wear that. You're not going to be, over here around the house is fine, but you can't trust these niggas, especially if they're in your neighborhood. Shoot, To Catch a Predator had one right after another. Older men probably think they can get away with it or convince folks the girl is lying. We need to stop that. And at the end of the day, if you have a forward young lady who thinks that she gonna shoot her shot, she needs to be like the young lady said. She needs to be shot right down to the principal's office because that's inappropriate. And we're gonna go ahead and have a conversation about it now, so that we need to have a sit down with her parents so everybody understands that this behavior is not okay. Not I need a seminar. I just think he's gross. I think whatever he's saying, um, to me, speaks to his mentality as it relates to women. Coaches have been proven to be among the biggest predators of children. Yeah, so has Winnie the Pooh and Goofy down to Disney. Predators go ahead and look for places. Maybe I'm accusing Winnie the Pooh of doing something he didn't do, but I didn't know for sure that one of them Goofy, I think it was Goofy, was down there doing too much with them kids down to Disney. Predators specifically go look for places, to find children. The crazy part was when her family found out, they tried to say she was special ed to make the situation look even worse. The part was all lies. That part was all lies. It was even crazy during. Yeah, I'm sure, because now, they have a situation over here and you have a grandchild. That was the storyline on Southwest. If y'all haven't watched Southwest, I don't go to Tubi, but I did go over to Tubi to watch Southwest. But then they stopped putting out episodes, so I don't know if it's bad acting. It's Tubi acting for sure. But one of the coaches got one of the teachers got one of the students pregnant. Netflix needs to pick up Chris Hayden's show. Yeah, that show, I was hooked on that show. They was, and especially after they added the police department. Winnie the Pooh never wore pants. Oh, Pooh. He didn't have pants on. Um, but those are the type of jobs that predators, I didn't take no class that I got dropped off at. Unless my mother was very comfortable with the environment. If I was in dance class, then, and when I moved to Florida, it wasn't about the predatory stuff. It was because I was the only black girl in the class. So when I went to dance class, then she was sitting out there waiting for me. I didn't get dropped off at places. When my son was on football practice, yeah, we was outside waiting on, them to finish. My son he's a big guy, so, but I didn't really fear somebody taking advantage of him just because of his size. Um, there's a movie coming out about Chris Hayden. Well, I hope it's on Netflix. Um, Yeah, you stay, El Cid. You're not dropping your kids off somewhere. I don't trust any of them. My mother was like, I couldn't, we don't sit on no uncle's laps and no cousins' laps and no adult men. As little girls, you don't sit on nobody's lap. The rules were clear. It's so funny. The tea didn't come out about Bill Cosby until after she passed away, but she always couldn't stand him. And it wasn't for the reason that, he got in trouble for it. She didn't like that he was bouncing them kids on his lap with that Jello pudding commercial. She was like, I don't like it. I don't like how he always has those kids on his lap. She might have been onto something. We don't know anything about that, but we do know that he was down there, quaaluding the ladies. Anyway, it sucks, but you have to be diligent, not just with you. I think it's, a normal mindset to be worried about your girls, but you got to be worried about the boys as well. We only could sleep over at cousins' house. We couldn't sleep over at no friends' houses. You said your son slept over at only two places, grandma and another family member. Sleepovers were at my house. Listen, I didn't have no sleepovers at my house. I think maybe once because I like my kids, but keep yours at home. Everybody's rules be different. It's always been I could spend the night at my cousin. I had one cousin that was the wild house child. So we stayed over their house, and when I saw say wow, you could jump on the bed. There were five of them, so you could get wild over there. And then like the older ones got grown, and so there were just the three of us. But there was no shenanigans like anything like this. You know what I'm saying? Inappropriate going on over there. Um, yeah, only the cousins. My other cousin, she was a little strange. She had cool toys, so I was cool with playing with her toys. But then I was ready to go because I really didn't vibe with her like that. It's the same as an adult. We don't, you know, just because you cool don't mean you said you have I have the sleepover house. Yes. It's just your house is a mildly wild tea. It's mildly wild because your son likes to record things, and so when they jumping on things, I'd be like, "Ooh, y'all gonna get it." We didn't have nothing to record, no recording devices, but jumping on the bed was a thing, and that's back in the day where you had the slats under the bed, so you be jumping on the bed, and then the thing fall down, and the whole bed fall down, and you got to put the thing back up. You can't do that to beds now. They don't fall down. What'd you say? You said things didn't change from my town until the R. Kelly tapes came out. Oh, I unfortunately used to seeing my 16-year-old classmates getting picked up by their 26-year-old boyfriends. I remember, yeah, I feel like that was too much of a norm, and I blame them mamas because the mamas was always like so hooked on what some kind of car some dude was driving, and a lot of them mothers. There were some dads, but I feel like a lot of those mothers are the reason why their daughters ended up like, I'm not gonna bring no 25-year-old to my house. Um, so I started trying to pull the 24-year-old girls instead. Trey, that's a trend right now. I bet you it worked now. If you felt like if you felt like a fool back then, I bet you wouldn't now because cougars rule. Um, I'm not telling you what I heard. I'm telling you what I know. Uh, you hope they do him right. Oh, what happened? What did I miss? Motown investor. Oh, you talking about Chris Hansen? Yeah, I would like to see some more Chris Hansen. But yeah, I had a classmate who, um, 10th grade, she was 15, and she had this old man. And when I say old man, Trey, he was not 26. This old man was like 40 something. And my mother was like, "Why? Are they okay with that?" I mean, the school didn't intervene. Everybody just knew that she had this old ass man that was her boyfriend. It worked then. Okay, that's what's up. You had a car. You was over there riding 2 miles an hour, so everybody sees you. You said you're ashamed. You just said that. This is the thing, Trey. It's not gross on your part, but on those 24-year-old women, like what were they doing down to the high school? Ugh. You said don't encourage El Cid to. Don't encourage Elsa to do a breakdown on my favorite cartoon character. It's gonna make me cry. Winnie the Pooh is your favorite, or just the Disney characters? Now, see, Elsa, you want to put that on the list because that breakdown might be interesting. All of those fairy tales are very creepy. When you get down to what they really were about. These restaurants, y'all still eating fast food? I don't. I don't even find pleasure anymore. Going to the grocery store is like Russian roulette. Anytime your stomach start rubbling and bubbling, you start wondering, if Taylor Farms done screwed you over some type of way. Everything recalled. Everything recalled. All them cartoons around. I had a clip of what's his name? Foghorn Leghorn saying, "My mama always said, don't trust them niggas." And I was like, what? Foghorn Leghorn was terrible. I know he said nigga plenty of times. Anyway, fast food. We're gonna lighten it up a little bit. We're gonna lighten it up a little bit, and in the same time, we're gonna lighten your pockets. So Shake Shack is now charging customers up to 50 cents more per item if they decide not to leave a tip when purchasing their food in a kiosk. So let's see what Shake Shack is over here doing.
My wife says that if you don't tip at Shake Shack, they make it more expensive per item, so we're about to find out.
Find out. Order 2 shakes just like before.
Okay. See, $5.99.
Okay.
We got strawberry. We got cookies and cream.
Hey, let's see.
And we got vanilla
with.
card.
Okay,
Okay, see that? Say checkout. And then say no. Right here. No.
Uh-oh, there's been a pricing update on all your card items. Please review.
Everything
just went up 50 cents. Every item went up by 50. My wife says,
I wonder if you could tip like 2 cents. You know what I'm saying? Just to see. All right, Elsie, we'll see you on the replay. You said my feet, my bike, eventually my car. It didn't matter. I had game and swag. Not you retired now. Stop it. You still be out there. I feel like you be out there, Trey. Swooing them in. He said, Trey Mack, don't retire. I don't believe him, Lotus Egyptian Flower. I don't think he's retired. So I wonder, like, if you put like 1 cent, 2 cent, add that to the tip thing, or is it gonna be like, that's not enough? I disagree with tipping. Just because if you're ordering at a kiosk, then you got to go get your food. Tipping is for a dining experience. I've been a server. That's what I feel like. I went to Outback a couple weeks ago and I ordered, to pick up. I didn't want to go in there. I just, wanted to get something to take home. And so when I went to go pick it up, you get the option of percentage. And I was like, why am I tipping the takeout person, this same percentage that I would be tipping a server? I don't think that's right. So obviously I'm going to tip her, I'm going to give you few bucks, you know what I'm saying? Because you put my food together and stuff. But when you tipping a server, they're with you for the full hour or however long you're there. So I don't believe they should be getting the same tip. Shake Shack, pay your people. Why am I tipping them to go pick up my bag? I'm ordering it myself. They didn't even ring it up. All they did was make it and put it in a bag and say number 24. And if I don't leave a tip, then, you got to pay more. I won't eat there. I'm sorry. I feel like all this tipping and gratuity and people like making deposits on things and then you get there and the person cancel. This culture here got the game mixed up. This is not what customer service looks like. That's why they over there snatching folks through the daggone window at the drive-thru. That's inappropriate. I don't think that should be a thing either. I'm just saying this is a ripoff. Shake Shack, pay your people more. I don't have to eat there if you're going to cost, because by the time they add the 50 cents to everything, shoot, depending on what you got. Over to celebrity news. Offset rejected Cardi B's $10 million divorce deal, saying, I built her brand. I deserve half. Is he on crack? What the hell is wrong with him? He built her brand. He seems like he's been partaking in whatever he was over there cooking in the pot. He better stop. Anyway, it says, according to multiple sources, rapper Offset allegedly rejected a divorce settlement offer of $10 million. $10 million. Take the money. You owe people. Offset. Stop it. He rejected the divorce settlement offer of a $10 million from his ex-partner Cardi B. Ooh, not his ex-partner. These people were matrimony together. That's his wife. Arguing that he had played a major role in helping her build her personal brand and therefore deserved a larger share of the assets. Stop it. He was quoted stating, I built her brand. I deserve half. And suggests that Offset feels used because he believes he contributed to her empire's early growth and now expects recognition for that. She was already Cardi B before we met you, Offset. I mean, before they got together. Stop. On the other side, the report claims that Cardi B's team is preparing to release documentation intended to demonstrate that her success is independently earned. Thank you. Positioning the offers and negotiation as less about brand building together and more about individual achievement. And it was like they weren't even really. He was Amigo and she was Cardi B, and her opportunities I feel like were out, just moving faster than him. Then he's over there with all that foolishness. This implies a power struggle over both money and narrative. Who built what and who holds the rights to the value? I have to see what the people are saying. Cardi B built herself. She built everything. He was just there. What's he on about? That's a British accent. Oh, somebody laughing. Prove it. Make her another one. Nope, we knew Cardi from Love and Hip Hop, and then with that DJ, we knew Cardi before them. They came along as a little celebrity couple. We did not know that they were going to turn into, Cardi and Offset. Hey, hi, Vibe. Um, are you drinking coffee or are you drinking wine? Sis said we was gonna be up all night, but I'm not. I'm drinking tea and water. Um, Yeah, I think he sounds ridiculous. I think he's, showing how corny he actually is. And out of all the amigos, Offset was the one that I liked. Crock, crock, pop, pop. He sound crazy, crazy. Not cheers. Cheers to the beginning of the week. Um, he might not win, but they may have a case. I remember how Cardi first got started. She was Cardi, but musically, she didn't pop off until she worked with him. No, I'm gonna disagree. I'm gonna disagree because she came out with these are bloody shoes and it's making money moves. That came before Offset. It was that album that put her on, and then they became a duo in terms of making babies and things together, and then he would chase her down at concerts. As a matter of fact, every time she broke up with him, he would run her down to the damn stage with roses and things like, please don't leave me. Now he's not there's no more Migos, and look at her. You want half of what? He sound crazy. I'm gonna have to disagree with you, Trey. I'm gonna have to disagree with you. Because beyond cooking on pop, pop, stop, stop. What else they got? I don't know. I don't know. I might be a little too old for Migos, but this is just another reason not to matrimony yourself to someone because they be over here talking about they created you. That sounds like the craziest thing. Um, Stop it. You ain't Sonny and she ain't Cher. Cardi was going to divorce him right then. Whoop, you disappeared. You said Cardi was going to divorce him right when her career jumped off. I feel like her career was popping before that. I'm sorry. I think she stayed with him down to the courthouse. She done had some chicks beat up on his behalf, um, begging her down to the stage. Please don't leave me. Oh, girl, that was Offset down to the stage, trying to get his girl back because he out here sleeping with scrubs. And then he was over there with that one white girl that they passed around in the industry. Now she got that thing on her lip, got a thing on her lip. Get out of here. Her and Offset was working together before that song. He put her with Party Fontaine. Listen, Trey, I'm not going to sit up here and argue what was going on behind the scenes. All I know is I knew Cardi B by herself before she was paired up with Offset. And he can definitely not take credit for her career building her brand. Stop it. I feel like, her brand was on the way of being built before he came along. Now, if he was one of the stepping stones, she tried to pass this clown $10 million. Thank you for your time. Have a nice day. But he won't be greedy. It looks like she was successful despite being married to him. Say it again, T. She didn't let his clownery stand in her way, and she's still over here. She's over here doing Old Navy deals down to the Met Gala. She started rubbing elbows with people. I think she went into Love and Hip Hop with a plan. I'm gonna do this 2 years, 2 seasons, and then I'm gonna be out. At the end of the day, it's all about what the paperwork say. I feel like they have split assets, and this clown is over here without a career. Why don't he focus on that? He put out an album. You know any of the songs? Because I ain't heard them. I'm still on pop pop with the crop crop. Um, she offered him 10 million. He's being greedy. He talking about he won't have half of what? She got to take care of them children, and he got other children. So how many kids she got that's his? Three. Three of them are his. She got to take care of them kids. I don't see him babysitting. I see him over here down to the internet getting shot in the ass because he's out here, borrowing money from loan sharks and things. Speaking of kids and baby mamas and things, this one right here, she's determined to be wifed up with a man who who got a wife and a kid.
Next year. Yeah.
Huh?
Yeah, we having a baby next year.
Hey. How y'all gonna have it? You gonna have a child?
Who the fuck else gonna have a kid?
Man, listen.
Why he ask her that? It's Cam. What is that supposed to mean? He's ignorant ass. Obviously, she will be the one that's gonna have the baby.
Listen here now. Don't.
We having a baby next year. Yeah.
Huh?
Yeah, we having a baby next year.
Hey. How y'all gonna have it? You gonna have a child?
I just want to slap him. Why is that so crazy for her? At the end of the day, not payday loans. At the end of the day, Remy and Pap are not together. Period, point blank. These people be over here taking for damn ever to get a divorce. From what I hear, the street said, what's his name? Man, Papoose is on the same nonsense that Offset is on. And Remy said he's trying to take half of her money. And so this girl claims she did this interview with Cam Newton. So, if you're a Clarissa Shields fan, hey T, then you could go in there over there and listen to her. It's sad because I feel like she's got a lot of good sense. Like when she's talking about boxing and all of that, it's an interesting conversation. I hate when she brings up Papoose. I'm sure that Cam was the one that brought it up, but I would love for her to just do her interviews focused on her craft, because it turns into a different thing. Then she got to start talking about Papoose and Remy, and she's in her 30s. I would say she's on the other side of her career. She's not on the come up. It's not unnatural for her to want a baby. I just wish it wasn't this nigga. But we said the same thing about Rihanna. Listen, if we be out here with a man that somebody don't want us to be with, in Cam's defense, people are using surrogates. I feel like ain't no way in the world she was going to use no surrogate. This girl's in love. She wants to carry that man's child in her womb. That's what she wants. And then her and Remy will be on the same level. Poor Clarissa. She's a slow baby, and he's capitalizing off of her. And family is worse off than her. Whose family is worse off? Oh, you mean her family. Her family is worse off than her. Yeah, I'm sure she takes care of them. You know what I'm saying? As best she can. I'm beginning to think she's Papoose hostage. Like one of those Stepford wives, whatever you like. I think she loves that man. I think Clarissa has, because when she's in an interview, she's always like, I'm young, I'm pretty. Like, it's almost like she has to say it. And at the end of the day, if you first of all, she's got a boxer's body. We used to say this, not we, because I wasn't saying that, but people used to say the same thing about Serena Williams, because her body was so athletic. She's a boxer. What is she supposed to look like? What'd you say, T? What you are seeing is a grown person on the spectrum. I feel like a lot of us on the spectrum, child. I believe, a lot of us are on the spectrum. I feel like also when you grow up with little self esteem and then you get this man, he's much older. Papa's in his 50s. So he was down to the high school waiting on Clarissa to graduate, nasty ass. It says the GWOAT is planning to step into motherhood after her next two boxing matches. Clarissa Shields says she and Papoose are planning to start a family next year, with the boxing champion indicating she expects to temporarily step away from parts of her career to focus on motherhood. Um, Shields discussed the couple's plans during a March 2026 appearance on the Way Up with Angela Yee, saying she and Papoose intend to have their first child together in 2027. She has previously spoken publicly about wanting children while she still young enough to remain active with them as they grow up. The announcement comes as Shields remains active in boxing. She is scheduled to face Kay Scott on August 15th at State Farm Arena in Atlanta, and she continues pursuing championships across the weight class. I don't think if we were talking about anybody else, this wouldn't even be a conversation. You say her family takes advantage of her and dog her out. Everyone is using her. I think that happens a lot of the times with people who come into money whose family is, in poverty, basically. Um, she's at the age, her biological clock is ticking. I think the only thing we hate about this situation is it's Papoose. But she has chosen this man. And I can't say nothing. Well, nobody can. Anytime you say something about Papoose, she's standing, 10 toes in front of her man. So it is what it is. She want to have a baby. And I think, she's at the time of her life where that makes sense. Like I said the same thing about Rihanna. Rihanna over there with ASAP Rocky, and at one point he was facing prison sentence. So as far as we know, Papoose ain't going to jail. Um, if she's been told over and over and over again, as Clarissa, she's been told if she don't want to listen and she let that man have access to her money, I hate it for her. But hopefully hopefully she's smart enough to put it somewhere, put a stash away. Don't matrimony him. Well, she can't marry him because he's already married. So until Remy gives him half her money, then, I don't think there's going to be any marriage anytime soon, but that ain't going to stop her from having a baby. So I don't know why anybody would be astonished that she would want to put her career on hold to become a mother. I think once you become a mother, Clarissa, I don't know if you're going to get your game back. Having a baby, you lose it's a whole being, you know, you lose some of your life force. Ask Serena when she ran back out to that tennis court. She back again, y'all. Amanda, she's back again. She is really butthurt about this whole thing with Issa Rae. um Amanda Seales is speaking out. She recently pushed back on people claiming she's jealous of Issa Rae. Who was saying that? Because, I mean, should they be over here talking about y'all was saying I was jealous of Issa Rae? I didn't see nobody saying that. Who? Two, three people said it and you got in your feelings. Amanda knows it seems as though she's using Issa Rae's name to keep herself relevant. I'll say that, Amanda. It seems as though you're doing a bit of clout chasing by mentioning Issa Rae's name. That's what it seems like. But anyway, basically making it clear that she had a career in entertainment long before Insecure ever came along. I can't tell because you want to, be attached to this Insecure chain. I feel like she's making it bigger, honestly, than it ever was going to be. A panel of Insecure does not appeal to me at all. And I watched the series. I like the series, but a panel of the people, a cast of Insecure doesn't appeal to me. But I feel like Amanda is over there helping these people sell tickets, just whining about the fact that she's not a part of it. Amanda pointed out her own resume, saying she's been working in Hollywood since the 90s, appeared on Def Poetry Jam. We don't need her resume. Worked with Q-Tip and was already a member of SAG before its merger with AFTRA. She says people trying to paint her as jealous of Issa because Issa is married, successful, and has a thriving social life doesn't make sense to her because she had already built a life and a career of her own before the two ever worked together. Yeah, but socially you suck, Amanda. Every time seems like you get in a social setting, the people don't want to hang out with you. The comments come as Amanda has publicly expressed disappointment over not being included in the upcoming Insecure, the 10th anniversary tour. The 13th city tour will reunite Issa, but Amanda, who played Tiffany Dubois, is noticeably absent. I think nobody thought she was going to be included anyway. Nobody ever thought she was going. They said you can't talk shit about her, then expect to be included in the panel. Period, point blank. Period, point blank. That's it, that's all. And I feel like Amanda got on their nerves. They was like, we don't want her to come. We want it to be fun. You said, I've never had too much of a personal issue with Amanda, but it does seem like she loves digging holes for herself. And she has lately. She has lately. I think, what did Tamika say? I think what we're witnessing is somebody on the spectrum. She, self-diagnosed. So, the people is her inner voice. I mean, we've been following. We've seen her do her Netflix thing, and I can understand her. I can't understand. I can't understand her. As a matter of fact, I feel like when she heard about the tour, she should have known she wasn't going. She should have known she was not going to be a part of that tour. Well, not only is she been around in I long before Issa Rae, she's a whole icon. Let her tell it.
My whole goddamn life. So for some random bitches on this internet to talk about I'm struggling in my career, talk about I'm jealous of Issa Rae. Baby, Issa Rae managed to get her own series on television. I remember when we first met in person in 2014, and Insecure was still on the shelf. And she was like, I'm just so frustrated that I can't get them to make it. And thankfully, she was able to get it made. I have nothing but respect for the ability to get something from your mind onto the page and onto the screen. Someone said, I'm jealous of Issa Rae because she has the Hollywood career, the Hollywood friends, and the marriage. Baby, if that is what she desires, bless her. I have had a Hollywood career. 1994. Do you understand?
Not her SAG.
I have been SAG in the Screen Actors Guild since before they merged. I am an icon. When I was a child, I was on an iconic Black TV show on Nickelodeon. When I see people saying Amanda Seales is struggling in her career, I'm looking around like, baby, I was only the second Black woman in the history of HBO to have a comedy special, which, by the way, is absolutely absurd. I'm an icon. I was on the first season and the second season of Def Poetry Jam. I'm an icon. Like, what are we talking about? I've been on Q-Tip albums. I have opened for Paul Mooney, Chris Rock, and Dave Chappelle. I'm an icon. Don't ever get it twisted that just because I'm here hanging out with y'all, that I'm in a struggle. I have time. Because I'm retired. I divested from Hollywood. Okay? I was on 5 seasons, the complete series of an iconic television show. People have compared my character, Tiffany, the way I played it, in the same space as Whitley Gilbert.
Girl, stop.
I'm an icon. Here's Insecure. These are my shoes that Tiffany wore at her baby shower. Here are some of our scripts from over the season. This was my table card on the last table read that we did. Here's a ticket from the first episode, the premiere for the first season. Here's some pictures from the party that they had for the release party, the premiere party. There's me and my lovely husband, Derek, aka Wade Elaine Marcus. Here's some photos of me and my bestie, Kiki, from these HBO parties that they would have every year, HBO Emmy parties. Jill Scott was riding with us one year, so there we go, me, Jilly from Philly, and Kiki. My mom made this for me when I got nominated for an NAACP award. It's a picture of me in the Nickelodeon studios when I was 12. I've been working my whole goddamn life. So for some random bitches on this internet to talk.
So, if she didn't pull out that Nickelodeon stuff, I was about to say, is that an altar? Are you okay? You're not about to put yourself in the same conversation with Whitley Gilbert. Cut it out. You said, no, ma'am, go see the lady and actually become unbothered. She's very bothered. I don't know what it is about Issa Rae. I don't think she's jealous of Issa Rae. She's an icon, for God's sakes. What I do think is being cut out, being, excluded is something that happens to her often. And this last time, it just sent her over the edge. Nickelodeon got it. That's why. Nickelodeon, we know what they was doing over there. Oh, did Nickelodeon get to her? Was it quiet on her set? Be humble. Sit down. I don't like humble. You be humble. I'm gonna be great. That's my motto. With the Jasmine Guy, Whitley Gilbert. That's an icon. Amanda, that show you was talking about, what was it? I don't know. I mean, I'm grown. I was sure I'm grown when the show was on. I don't remember, girl. You open for all these people. That does not make you an icon. That makes you an opening act, girl. And you got kicked off of all them tours with them people. Everything Amanda said is factually correct. Here's the problem. Her arrogance and her abrasive nature rubs people raw. I don't see her as no icon. I'm sorry. Then when she said Whitley Gilbert, I was like, girl, stop. That's not true. Hey, Miss Beats Reviews. Let me just say, since you popped over here, you in the chat. Miss Beats has been so supportive. I need to take a moment and just say, to some of the content creators, I'm over here just doing my thug thizzle. Miss Beast is over there reviewing. She tell it like a T.I. is child over there reviewing Married at First Sight. She does review a lot of shows that you probably watch but don't necessarily. She reviewing The Valley. She does, girl, you did, what is it? The new one on Put a Ring on It, the cheating version. I hope so, because I don't have an Emmy to review it. I just ain't gonna do it. But yeah, shout out to Miss Beats Reviews. I'm gonna go ahead. They mention my name in the description, and I'm gonna return the favor and do the same, because I really appreciate all the support. I feel like it's a lot of us out here, but we got our own little small network of people. So shout out to Miss Beats Reviews for being Miss Best. I'm calling her Beats. Miss Best Reviews for being over here in the conversation. Yeah, Amanda, I think she must be delusional. Where Pinky? She's delusional. I don't know why Issa Rae has her in such a tizzy. And again, I think that whole thing of her being let me say this. The whole thing with the party that Issa was not attending. It was an Emmy party, I believe, for Insecure, and they had her removed. I do believe having her removed was a step too far. I mean, you know what I'm saying? Like her or not, what was she really going to do at your party? So that part, I feel like, is kind of like the set the tone for her issue with these people over here at Insecure, because she finished out the season. She was there to the end. I understand her being in her feelings. I'm not even mad at her saying like what her experience was, but if you can say your feelings, then you can't come back and expect to be in the same arena and platforms with these people, and I feel like they just don't like you, Amanda. And it's probably because she thinks she's right all the time. She, thinks she's an icon. She definitely know Whitney Gilbert, but I think her being excluded so many times has, put her in this psychotic space that it feels like she's in. And Amanda goes viral, every month or so. So she gonna ride this insecure train until the tour is over. I would say thank you, Amanda, for helping me sell tickets. That's what I would say. Issa will not say the girl's name. Issa do not mention Amanda. She's over there arguing with a brick wall because ain't nobody on the other side said anything about her. You said same. I thought it was a bit too far. And deliberate chess move to make her look crazy to kick her out. Yeah, we all got people, in our workspace that get on our nerves. You know what I mean? And she's self-diagnosed as being on the spectrum, but I think it's probably accurate. You know what I'm saying? I feel like she's probably taken a lot of tests on her own that come to that conclusion. Um, she is extremely smart, but she doesn't know everything. Amanda doesn't leave room for other opinions aside from her own. So I don't know what's up with that insecure altar she got going on over there, but we did talk about the other day that the voodoo dolls are not for bad things. Those are not, not that's not what that is. I hope yeah, she need to go see the lady because her I don't want to call the lady psychotic. Her this banter, this thing that she's doing over here on the internet, she's getting clicks and views, but it's I feel like turning people off. And not just her followers, she got her people over there, but it's the outside people, the people that she wants to clearly have the attention of, it's turning people off. I had to turn her off. I'll still go over there. I see her like, only when she makes the blogs because I got tired of her being on my timeline doing this thing that she's doing right here. Um, that's all I got tonight. Thank you guys for the switch up and coming over here and hanging out with me. It's always a fun time. I will be back tomorrow, my day off, child. So, but I will be back tomorrow at 8 o'clock for the reality recap. I'm going to recap Belle Collective Reunion Part 2, the first part of the Real Housewives of Atlanta, and I will be reviewing the Ultimate Girls Trip. So, yeah, that's what we will be talking about tomorrow night at 8 o'clock. And Coffee Talk will be back at its regularly scheduled time, 10:30 a.m. Wednesday morning. So, I'm going to leave y'all with this. Like the video, subscribe to the channel, and yeah, we out.
Option, don't you pick me. Don't you weigh me on a scale of convenience or rationalize why another option might serve you better. I was never meant to be compared, my baby. I was meant to be chosen. And see, love is not a pros and cons list. It's not a side-by-side comparison of who texts back faster or who looks good on paper. Baby, I am not paper. I'm flesh, spirit, and some fire. And you don't analyze fire. You respect it or you burn. And don't treat me like a backup plan into your bench of indecision. If my presence don't feel like a priority, then my absence reminds you what party feels like. And I'm not the maybe in your sentence, I am the period. I am not the side note in your margin, I am the headline and bold. And baby, you can't half love a margin. You either love it fully or not at all. Don't call me friend when all you mean is convenience. I'm not the just checking in text that you send when loneliness fills your corners, and I'm not the shoulder that you lean on when you've exhausted everyone else. See, my presence is enough for discount. You can't reach for it when your spirit feels broken. So the next time that you got to decide on whether my value fits into your existence, remember this. You can't bargain with what's priceless. And baby, you can't discount what's divine. And if my name ever makes it into your table of choices, let it also be the name that you can't walk away from. Because see, if I'm an option, don't you pick me. I wasn't built for deliberation. I was built to be honored, to be loved with no hesitation. So if your friendship needs rationalization, if your love needs justification, then baby, I'm good, because see, I ain't waiting nowhere to be picked. I was already chosen by peace, by purpose, and by God. Because if I'm an option, don't you pick me.